Hi everyone, Coach Chris here from GPC Squad, just with a little bit of a summary of the upcoming Torquay Triathlon. So this short presentation is targeted mostly at those of you awesome athletes who are undertaking their very first triathlon. Now, seasoned triathletes, you might get a little bit out of this, but very much what we're doing today is targeting those who are either very new to the sport or perhaps are doing their very, very first one. So before we get started, though, a quick congratulations to all of those first timers who are undertaking your first triathlon. It can be very daunting rocking up to your first triathlon, but know that the tri community are very supportive and very welcoming. I think it's evident in the way that all the local coaches, such as ourselves, have offered various sessions, advice, and in my case, just this little video answering some of your questions. We do love seeing people trying this sport for the very first time, and more often than not, triathlon won't be your last. For your first triathlon, won't be your last triathlon. So Andrew and Lisa, who are organising this event, have sent through a few of the more common questions that they've received over recent weeks, and I'll go through them. But if there is anything not covered that you want answered, my email address and social media links are in the show notes in below. So feel free to reach out to me, send me a DMs, flick me an email, something like that. More than happy to help out. But hopefully, what we're covering off today answers most of the questions. So let's get started. As you can see, I am on the website here, the event website. So if you haven't actually spent too much time here, now is sort of the time maybe to spend a bit of time in the lead up to the race, just to get familiar with all of the different course outlines, some of the rules and regulations, and some of the timings that you need to do. So if we just go up to the top up here and we'll go to race day and rules, you'll see here that there's a little bit of a time frame in terms of things that you can do. So both on the Saturday and then on the Sunday. So on the Saturday, between 1 and 5 p.m. down at the event village at Elephant Walk in Torquay, you can go down and you can register. You can pick up your race pack, and that will save you a little bit of time on Sunday the 10th. So if you're in the vicinity and you've got the ability, we recommend that you get down on the 9th and pick up your race pack. Okay. Now, if you can't get there, that's okay. Some people might be driving down that morning. They might be coming from a little bit further away. So you've got some time to do your registration on race mornings. Now, it does start early. So if you're new to triathlon, here's something that you need to learn. Your day is going to start early. There are a few exceptions where races are held in the evenings, or in the afternoon, sorry, but in the vast majority of all the triathlons you're going to do, they are going to be early starts. It is part and parcel of being a triathlete. Events start early. So if you weren't able to register and collect your race pack on Saturday afternoon, then you can come in and from 5:45 a.m., you can collect your race pack. All right. You do need to allow enough time to be able to go and rack your bike. So register, grab your race pack, then go and rack your bike, set up your transition area. You want to be able to attend the race briefing and then make your way to swim start. It is important to allow yourself plenty of time and probably more than you think you might need. Okay. So key thing here is allow yourself plenty of time, relax, and that way you're not putting yourself into a sort of a panic situation of getting there late and missing cutoffs and that sort of stuff. So there's nothing worse than turning up to your first triathlon and being rushed. So I would be allowing as much time as you can. Me personally, I would be, if it was my first triathlon, I'm probably going to be arriving at registration if I need to. I'm going to be arriving there, between 5:45 and 6 a.m. All right. You don't have a huge amount of time in terms of getting ready. So you just want to make sure that you're on top of that. And then if you are finished and you've registered and racked a bike and you got everything done, then it's time to relax and you can actually enjoy it. And that time of the morning, you get a great sunrise as well. All right. So it's important to allow yourself plenty of time, as I mentioned. Remember to breathe, relax, smile, and enjoy the experience. It's really important, right? We want you to have fun, so come along and have fun. Take the time. Don't be too nervous. There's going to be plenty of nerves bouncing around. Talk to everybody. See where they're from, what they're doing. If it's their first, if it's not their first. If they've been doing plenty of them. So just have a chat to people. Enjoy the experience. If you aren't sure on how to set up your transition, I have included a link to a short video I did for my current athletes who are racing in Melbourne 70.3. That might help you. It is a little bit more geared towards the 70.3 athletes, but as a first timer, it'll help you as well, just to get an idea of some of the little things you need to think about when setting up your transition. So a little tip. You will have a timing chip in the form of an ankle bracelet. Okay, so make sure that the first thing you put on race morning is that timing chip. Okay, it'll just have a little Velcro strap. It'll go around your ankle and pop it on first thing. Right. So if you've collected your pack on the Saturday, then the first thing you do when you get up in the morning, put that race chip on. Right. Too often people will forget about it. It just might be left in your bag or left on the bedside table or something like that. And then you get to race and you haven't got your chip, which means you don't get a time, which means you effectively weren't there, even though you've done all the work. So it's really important to make sure you have that chip on first and foremost. If you're registering on the Sunday morning, once you've got your pack, reach in, grab it, and put it on your left ankle. Okay. Now we recommend the left ankle because it tends to stay out of the way of your crank on your bike, and make sure that the chip is actually facing outwards, not inwards towards the bike, okay, or inwards towards the inside your leg. It wants to face on the outside of the leg. It's the one thing you don't want to forget is your timing chip, so that you make sure that you get your times. Now, for those of you who are racing the teams event, it is a relay, meaning that one of you will swim, one will ride the bike, and one will run. All right. And the timing chip will be passed from one to another. Now, the best way to do that is the person who's about to receive the chip should be the one to take it off the person who has just finished their leg. So, your bike rider, I want you to take it off the swimmer as they arrive in transition, and the runner, you're to take it off the bike rider. You'll find that that will be a little bit quicker, given that the person who's about to start the leg hasn't expended all that energy. They haven't got the heart rate up. They're probably going to be a little bit flustered, maybe trying to get to you nice and quickly. So you, as the person who's about to start, it's always going to be better if you can be in the position to then grab it off their ankle. Okay. And as again, wear it on your left ankle. Now, we'll go in and we'll have a look at some of the courses. So we're down here into course maps. Now, being a triathlon, swim, bike, run is the traditional way, and that's the way it's happening here in Torquay. There is some fantastic little videos here. So if you haven't had a chance to have a look at these, make sure you do and have a look. So the swim course, sponsored by Micro Coffee Roasters, is a 1 lap, 400-meter swim consisting of 2 right turns, right-hand turns. Now, if I press play on our little swim leg, you'll see that you head out, you turn right, swim a bit more, turn right, and then you're back into the beach and you'll run up the boat ramp there, okay? Now, there will be buoys in the water, so you know where to turn. Plenty of on-water support as well. Been advised there'll be some paddle boards out there. Now, if you do get in trouble or need a rest, just raise your arms, stay calm, and someone will come and they will get to you quickly, okay? Now, if it was just a rest you needed, you are more than welcome to continue on with the course, okay? We're all about trying to get participation up for this event. So, if you just need a rest, put your arm up, you can have a quick rest, and then continue on with the swim, okay? So, what to wear? Everyone is different. And you can complete the entire race in your bathers if you wanted to. However, ideally, you probably have a triathlon suit. And the reason for that is if you are in the bike leg, then it's got a little bit of padding, so just to make the bike a little bit more comfortable. If you're in a teams event, the clothing you would wear would be specific to the sport that you're doing. So swimmers, you're going to be in your swimming gear. Bike, you can be in your proper bike gear, and then runners, you would just be wearing full running gear. For those doing the full triathlon themselves, ideally, you would be in a triathlon suit. And then for the swim, if you have a wetsuit, that would be ideal as well. It's going to provide you a little bit more buoyancy and a little bit more warmth. If you don't have one, though, that's okay. Just be aware that the water might be a little bit fresher than those who are in the wetsuit will experience, okay? Some other things to remember on race day, a little bit like your timing chip, particularly for the swimmers, don't forget your goggles. And make sure that you allow yourself plenty of time to familiarise yourself. So once you've racked your bike, and you've attended race briefing, wander down to race start. You'll probably find that most people will be heading down that way anyway, and just familiarise yourself with the course. Okay. Now, what you do need to wear during the event needs to be comfortable. It shouldn't slow you down, so we don't want anything baggy in the swim, and we don't want to have anything that requires a change of clothes in transition, okay? Change facilities will be limited, and we don't obviously want people getting changed in the transition. So it's perfectly okay to put clothes on over the top of what you've got if you feel that that'll make you more comfortable. But change facilities are going to be a little bit limited. So it's best to sort of start the race in what you intend to finish it in, and that's where a tri suit is really most beneficial. Now, if you don't have a tri suit or you don't have a wetsuit, but you do know someone who does triathlon who might be of a similar size, reach out to them. You'll probably find that if they're an experienced triathlete, they've probably got one or two spare sets sitting in the cupboard, and they'll be more than happy to support you and loan you a set for the day. Okay. Right. So we'll go to the bike. Scroll down to the bike. So after we exit the swim, you'll run up to transition, and then you'll get ready for the bike leg, which is sponsored by the Hot Temple. Those in a teams event, as I mentioned before, will pass their timing chip to their cyclist, who will then put it on their left leg. And as I mentioned, if you are the cyclist in the team, maybe you're the one to grab that off the ankle of the swimmer. Okay. A really important point for all competitors is to make sure your helmet is on and clipped up before you unrack your bike. Okay. There'll be officials on course as well. They'll probably be reminding you of this, but it's really important that your helmet is on and clipped up before you remove your bike from the rack. Okay. Now, there are some roundabouts on the course, and there are 4 tight corners. So if I press little play on the course here, it's actually a 2-lap course. You're going to head north and merge left with a hairpin turn at the top. You'll come back down and take a sharp left. So that's our first tight corner at the top, second tight corner at our little left-hand turn here. You're going to have another U-turn at the top here. So that's our third tight corner. And then you're going to ride all the way back down to transition, where you'll then do another hairpin turn, and then flip around and you'll do it all again. So we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4 tight turns on the first lap. And then because you do it a second lap, you'll do this tight turn up the top again. So 1, 2, 3. So it's 7 tight turns in total before you then come back down and then go back into transition. So it's a 2-lap, 15-kilometer ride, sorry. Now, because there are some roundabouts and some tight corners, if you aren't comfortable doing tight turns, just get some practice in beforehand. There's plenty of time to go out and practice that. Just find a nice quiet road and practice those tight turns, those 180-degree turns. A good tip is to take the corner a little bit slower and take it a little bit wider, making sure you're also in an easy gear, okay, so you can pedal through if need be. All right. Take it wider, take it slower, and those who are a bit more experienced, they'll probably come through on the inside, okay? So take your time when you're going around them. Now, what kind of bike can you take for the triathlon? The answer is any type. As long as it is in safe working order, it's got good brakes, there's no exposed metal like on the end of handlebars or anything like that, then any bike will do. The vast majority of people are going to have either road bikes or a triathlon or a TT bike, but mountain bikes are fine. Your beach cruiser is fine. Your BMX, whatever it is, single speed, doesn't matter. Okay, as long as it's in good working order. You just need to be comfortable in being able to ride it for 15 kilometers. And if you're comfortable to do that, then it's going to be fine. If you're a little bit unsure about the quality or whether it's in good condition, take it to your local bike store, let them know what you're doing, and get it serviced, okay, to make sure it's working. All right. Now, a big question is, are the roads closed? And the answer is yes, they are. Remember, though, to always stay on the left when riding. And if you're overtaking a competitor, do so on the right, okay? Now, whilst there are road closures in place, still be mindful for any local traffic that might be out and about. They may have accidentally forgotten there was an event on, or there might be an access lane that they're trying to get into, and you can have the odd car occasionally. Hopefully that won't be the case, but just always be mindful. You are on roads. Yes, we've closed them off, although they've closed them off, but there's still a chance there might be some traffic. So just be aware. Now, the road closures are in place until 9 a.m. So if you find yourself on the bike course after that time, a course official will direct you back to transition, and then you can complete the run. Okay, so it's not a case of your day is done. You will just probably finish your bike a little bit sooner, go back to transition, and then you'll do your run. All right, speaking of the run, scroll down again. Now, the run is a 1-lap run. So after the bike, you're going to come back into transition. You'll rack your bike first, then take your helmet off. So the reverse of when you start on the bike, the opposite of applies. So rack your bike first, then take your helmet off. The run is sponsored by the Injury Clinic, and It is a 1 lap 4 kilometer run. Now, if you're in a team, the runner will grab the timing chip from the bike rider, okay, and then head out on the run. If you're doing the full event yourself, you rack your bike, take your helmet off, swap your shoes over probably to put your runners on. If you've been using road shoes, maybe popping your hat on, your sunnies, and you're heading off for your run then, okay? The run, as I said, is sponsored by the Injury Clinic. It's a 4 kilometer run that is 1 lap only. There is a short section at the start where you will head north first and then do a very quick turnaround, and you'll come back and you'll run all the way back down to the Torquay Surf Lifesaving Club. That's approximately 2 kilometers, and at the Torquay Surf Lifesaving Club, there will be an aid station. Be aware that there are some stairs on the course, so take your time and be careful with those. From the surf club, you will then loop back, running almost all the way back to transition, where you'll then merge left and into the finish chute. And if I press play on our little run leg here, you'll see what I mean. All right. So if I zoom in up here, I'll press play on that one again. Okay, so we come out, we head north for a little short distance, we loop back and we run all the way down to the Surf Lifesaving Club. There is a little bit of a loop here, and then you'll rejoin back up. So we're going to stay on the left whenever you're running on the course. And then as we come back up, you'll see just before transition, we'll merge left up to the finish line there, okay? 1 lap for the course. All right. Now, make sure that when you do finish in the finish chute, you smile, get a good photo, celebrate your achievement. Doesn't matter what time or position you came. The fact that you've completed one is a magnificent effort. I think the Torquay Triathlon is going to be a wonderful event because it's such a beautiful position and location. It'll be, I think, one that's going to be visited quite often, and I think you'll be back again next year as well after you've done it. So there we have it, a bit of a summary that hopefully answered some of the questions for you. One last question that was asked related to not completing either or part of a leg. So what happens if I can't finish the swim, or I get directed off the bike early? Well, the answer is you can still finish the course. Okay, so if for some reason you're unable to complete a leg, but you're still right to keep racing, you can absolutely continue on. The only thing that they want you to know is that you won't be eligible for any prizes. That's all it is. Okay, but you still get to participate. You'll still get to cross the finish line, and just doing that is an achievement in itself. Okay. Now, as I mentioned before, there are a couple of links in the notes below to further help you. And if you do have any further questions regarding this triathlon or just triathlon in general, please reach out via my details that I've also included. I'm always happy to help. And good luck to everyone in competing in the inaugural Torquay Triathlon.